Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Covering Wake County this morning, 2 of 4 lanes are closed on I-40 westbound near Gorman Street. For crash, it's really in the clearing phase right now. We'll have a live report at the bottom of the hour and let you know how to get around it.
And I'm tracking some showers that will arrive around the middle of the day. I'll show you who's more likely to see some light rain. And we're learning more about that tragic high school shooting in Georgia that left 2 students and 2 teachers dead, how the community is gathering to remember them as 9 others are recovering this morning.
And today, students in North Carolina will learn if they will be able to earn money from their name, image, and likeness. The decision that could change high school sports across the state. Wake up and join us this morning. Grab your pumpkin spice latte as we're here on WRAL News and Fox 50. I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Yeah, and it's a good morning for a pumpkin spice latte, right? Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner looking at the big picture, tracking a little bit of rain right now. Yeah, it's been mainly back across the mountains this morning. It really hasn't made a lot of forward progress into our area. We have a pretty dry air mass in place, and so as that moves in, some of that's going to be evaporating. But we've started to see a little bit of light rain developing here. We do have some moisture that's sitting off the coast, and that's starting to push up into our area. Along with that, we'll have this disturbance that's back to the west, starting to move across the area around mid-morning to early afternoon. There's lunchtime right there. Notice it's not widespread. None of it's going to be heavy. We're talking about less than 1/10 of an inch. We get into the afternoon commute, and we should see some sunshine breaking out, and temperatures will be nice in the upper 70s. Right now, we're taking a look across Raleigh here, downtown, just past the legislative building. A lot of cloud cover, but some comfortable temperatures. 65 our temperature, and our dew point's at 60, which still is on the comfortable side. Just a 30% chance of rain starting at around 10 or 11 and ending at around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We may continue to see an isolated shower in our northeastern counties past that, but again, what we see today is going to be pretty minimal in terms of the rain gauges. 78 for the high temperature this afternoon. The next best chance for rain comes Saturday. We'll track that front coming up in just a bit. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, here in the 8 o'clock hour, we continue to follow that breaking news in I-40 westbound in those right near that Gorman Street exit. It's the crash that we've been following since about 4:30 this morning. It's causing quite a bit of backup in terms of the lingering delays that we're seeing right now. Let's get out to Nick Perlin in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker with what we know about this crash and to set the scene for us. Nick.
Well, Ken, I can tell you that now it does appear only one of these lanes here, as you can see, are blocked off here. Crews have been working to pick up some of the debris that was left over from this crash that happened early this morning. This crash did involve an 18-wheeler and a garbage truck, and it caused quite a bit of damage to that 18-wheeler. Crews have, again, been working to clear up some of the oil that was spilled from the 18-wheeler in this crash, but they should be wrapping up here relatively soon as we've seen crews get into their trucks. Looks like they're getting ready to leave shortly, but we still have seen very lingering effects from this crash that happened again early this morning. So Ken, if people are driving through this way on I-40 West, they still could see some delays. So what's a way to get around those?
You know, to be honest with you, Nick, because that one lane is just closed as opposed to 2 lanes, we're and truly looking at the live sensors. We've got 3 lanes moving through. I would actually go through that area. You might be adding about 2 or 3 minutes to commute, but even though it looks fire red, you still have 3 lanes moving through. This backup stretches all the way back to the I-440 40 split coming in from Johnston County. We're seeing the huge backups on the north side of the Beltline as well, around Capitol Boulevard and the like. We're seeing that as well. So I would actually stay the course in terms of I-40 westbound. Even though it's going to add about 2 or 3 minutes to your commute, you'll be fine in terms of getting to your destination and home on time. I talked about the northern part of the Beltline. This is what it looks like right now. The westbound lanes are moving away from us. You're looking at a 3 to 5 minute delay in terms of your commute time heading on that side of the Beltline.
All right, thank you, Ken. There will be no school today or tomorrow in Barrow County, Georgia. Instead, counselors will be available for students and staff after the tragic school shooting there. We're learning more about the victims of the shooting at Appalachia High School. 2 14-year-old students and 2 math teachers were killed. 9 other people, 8 students and a teacher, were also hurt. They were shot. They are expected to survive. The accused shooter, who is 14 years old, was booked late last night and will be charged as an adult. The city where where the shooting happened is a small community of fewer than 20,000 people. Hundreds came together to mourn at a vigil last night. Law enforcement says the shooter, identified as Colt Gray, used an AR-style weapon. According to the FBI, he was interviewed by local law enforcement last year over online threats to commit another school shooting. Authorities say that there was no probable cause for his arrest at that time. And all lanes of I-95 are open after this fiery tractor-trailer crash. State Highway Patrol confirms that the driver of that tractor-trailer died. The interstate was closed for hours. It reopened about 1 o'clock this morning. The crash happened in the northbound lanes near I-295 interchange in Cumberland County at about 7:30 last night. Troopers say a tire malfunction caused the tractor-trailer to hit the highway barrier. One of its fuel tanks exploded after the crash, causing that massive fire. Authorities have not released the name of the driver who died.
WRAL is following a developing story in Sampson County. 2 people were killed during a crash near Clinton. I want to show you some video now of where the crash happened. This is on Boykin Bridge Road. Troopers say they showed up to the crash site after 7:30 last night. Investigators, they were there for several hours. And we are working to learn the names of the people who died and what led to the crash. Student athletes in North Carolina's public schools will learn today whether they can get paid for sponsorship deals. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey tells us many other states allow students to make money from NIL deals already.
We're just hours away from finding out if high school athletes' work here on the field will eventually lead to more money in their pockets. Next football season, some high school players may get paid for their name, image, and likeness. Under the proposed rules, high school athletes would be allowed to do activities like paid appearances, product endorsements, and autograph signings. 38 other states have already adopted a rule that allows this, but there are some exceptions. One of the most notable is this. A school cannot use an NIL deal as a recruiting tool. Here's WRAL sports investigative reporter Brian Murphy.
I would imagine some top recruits may be able to command, big contracts or big endorsement deals to sign autographs or with trading card companies and the like. But for the majority of high school athletes, I don't know that this is going to have a huge impact on their lives.
So we can think of what's happening today as a preliminary vote. After that, this will go forward for a public comment period. Then there should be a final vote in January. So this rule wouldn't actually go into effect until July. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Cary.
The rules are now agreed upon for next week's debate between former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris. The Harris campaign says it has agreed to have microphones muted for candidates who are not answering a question. And that's the same rule that was in place for the June debate between Trump and President Joe Biden. Harris's team had been seeking to change that rule to allow direct exchanges between the candidates. The debate is happening in Philadelphia on Tuesday. You can watch it on WRAL starting at 9 o'clock that night.
There will be an increased police presence at Hope Mills Middle School today, and that's because of a swatting incident. Police say they arrested a juvenile for calling in a threat against the school yesterday. That happened shortly before 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and so the school was put into lockdown because of this. Police say there was no active threat, but there will be an increased officer presence at the school this morning.
The first kickoff of the NFL season is now less than 14 hours away. The Kansas City Chiefs are hosting the Baltimore Ravens to get the season started in a game that you can watch on WRAL. The Chiefs will raise a banner before the game, celebrating their win in last season's Super Bowl. This year, they'll be looking to make it 3 Super Bowl wins in a row and 4 in the last 6 seasons. They need to get past the Ravens tonight to get the season started on the right foot. And you can watch tonight's game on WRAL. Coverage starts at 7 o'clock. Kickoff is set for 8:20.
Today, Durham City leaders will work to address homelessness and other challenges in the city. City Council will receive a presentation on homelessness in the city and the difficulties that come with dealing with it. Another presentation will focus on growth in Durham public schools and how planners are preparing for this. A third presentation will report the findings and the recommendations of a paratransit improvement study. The work session is happening today, and that begins at 1 p.m.
Evacuation orders are in place for parts of Southern California as a new fire spreads. We'll bring you a bird's eye view of the damage the post-fire has left behind.
And the Justice Department says Russia is trying to influence the U.S. election online. How they claim the Russian government is changing what you see online.
Look how beautiful this is right now. Live look over Lake Gaston. This looks like a postcard. This looks fake. A couple clouds in the sky, but a really nice view, and it's also feeling nice out there. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner has a different view over Apex. Pretty cloudy this morning.
It is a cloud cover across the viewing area. We take a live look at Apex, and you can see the gray skies here. We're looking at the potential for just a little bit of light patchy rain today. Some of that approaching the mountains, but moving into a dry air mass sitting over us right now. So we're not seeing a whole lot developing. A little bit of rain. There's a low sitting offshore. That's starting to push some rain back inland, but it's not reaching our viewing area yet. Anything we see today is going to be pretty light and patchy. We'll kick things off here at 8 a.m. We'll pause it there at 10, and you can see some scattered showers. But really, it's 8 o'clock already. Really not seeing anything getting terribly close to us at this point. During the afternoon, we'll start to see some sunshine breaking out, so we'll be partly cloudy. And then let's talk about what happens on Friday. We may start with some cloud cover. Most of Friday stays dry. We start to see a few isolated showers developing in our southern counties fairly late in the day. So between 10 and 11, Southern Pines, Fayetteville, Clinton, maybe even Goldsboro seeing some rain. So if you're at a football Friday game on down in our southern counties, you might see some rain by the end of the game, but most of us are going to end up staying dry. Now, by Saturday morning, this version of Futurecast has some rain over us. This is going to be more of a worst case scenario. We have some models that really keep the bulk of the rain to our east on Saturday, so we'll be watching it closely. And there's a look at around 1:30, 2 o'clock. That's going to be about the back edge of it coming through. So this next cold front will come sweeping through on Saturday. Behind the front, we're going to see a nice shot of some reinforcing cool, dry air. We take a look at our potential for rain. This is a look at our low pressure system moving through. Some rain during the day on Saturday. We're going to give it a 40% chance on Saturday, just a 20% chance on Friday. Really, the best chance of rain Friday is going to be after sunset in our southern counties. Let's take a different look at Futurecast. This is 6 p.m. on Friday, and you can see some of that rain again in our southern counties. This is 1 o'clock Saturday from the Triangle area eastward, and then that continues to slide on to the east. So we are looking at the chance of showers and thunderstorms on Saturday, especially from the Triangle area eastward. But take a look at some of these potential rainfall totals. It's really 1/10 of an inch or less. We'll keep watching that and kind of seeing the development of our system Saturday. Some of the models have been a little more aggressive with rain. Some of them have been a little drier. So we're going to give it a yellow light for Saturday in terms of outdoor plans. Some showers and storms are possible. But Sunday, green light, go. I mean, it's going to be lovely. We do have a low that's developing offshore that's going to help to add that chance of some showers and thunderstorms along the coast. It's there a 20% chance that it would be tropical, and then there are 3 others hanging around out there, but they're all 20 to 30%, and so that's good news. It's the peak of the season, and there are a lot of systems we're watching, but none of them look likely to develop anytime soon, Ken.
All right, that's good news. And we're getting some good news here in terms of the traffic on I-40 and those westbound lanes of the Beltline that we've been monitoring this morning. There was a crash right there at Gorman Street. You can see there's still lingering delays right there. Let's take a live look for courtesy of photographer Charles Bradley, the WRAL breaking news tracker. You see a tow truck there on the scene. It used to be that 2 of the 4 lanes were closed. Now we're down to just 1 of the 4 lanes closed. You see, lanes are getting through. This was a crash that involved a tractor trailer and a garbage truck around 4:30 this morning. We do know that the driver of the garbage truck was injured, taken to the hospital. We're working to get more information about that. But right now, crews are in the cleaning up phase of that situation there on I-40 westbound near Gorman Street. So back here live in the WRAL Traffic Center, we're going to isolate the Beltline and show you really how massive this backup is in terms of the Beltline. It stretches all the way back to the I-40, I-440 split. They're coming in from Johnston County. We're all seeing some delays also too in those northern lanes, which I was telling people to do in terms of an alternate route. You're looking at a 5-minute delay there in those northern lanes, northern side of the Beltline, in terms of what you're looking at in terms of your commute this morning. But it's a situation that we will continue to monitor here in the WRAL Traffic Center.
WRAL went to a legal expert for his perspective on a local murder case. Fayetteville mother Avante Devon is accused of killing 2 of her adopted children, Blake and London. WRAL Investigates recently obtained an apparent confession recording connected to this case. In that recording, someone admits to dismembering and hiding Blake's body. We played part of that recording for Carl Fox. He's a former state Superior Court judge, and we asked him why he thinks there still have not been charges announced against the person in the recording. And he says you have to consider that person might have been coerced into their role and isn't the main target for the prosecution.
Why on earth would you go after someone who has a lesser role than the perpetrator if that person can help you prosecute the perpetrator. And believe me, in a case that's as old as this case is, you need someone there to assist you.
You can hear more of his perspective and access the apparent recorded confession over on WRAL.com.
New video shows the moments after a shooting on a Chicago commuter train early Monday morning that left 4 people dead. The first video released by police shows a man jumping out of a moving train and running away. Police say that man was a witness to the shootings. After the train stops, a man wearing a black shirt and a ski mask walks away. And a second video recorded minutes later shows him walking out of the train station. Police say that is the suspected shooter, Ronnie Davis. Davis is charged with 4 counts of murder.
The Justice Department says the Russian government is behind widespread efforts to control information you get online. As Amy Kiley reports, the goal is to affect how you vote in the upcoming election.
They have become much more clever and sophisticated.
The Biden administration says Russia has been spending millions to influence the U.S. election and other issues through social media. The Justice Department says it has indicted 2 employees of the Kremlin media arm, RT. It alleges they were part of an almost $10 million scheme to set up and direct a Tennessee-based front company. It says the goal was to produce divisive online content. A U.S. official identifies the company as Tenet Media.
We know they're using RT and they're using social media influencers and artificial intelligence to sow disinformation and to push their own policies and programs.
Tenet Media is a network of commentators, including some with millions of subscribers. It lists Benny Johnson and Tim Pool on its website. Both say they were victims of RT's efforts and have maintained editorial control of their content. In RT's response to the allegations, a spokesperson quips, 2016 called, and it wants its cliches back.
The American people are entitled to know when a foreign power is attempting to exploit our country's free exchange of ideas in order to send around its own propaganda.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
And the Justice Department says it is also cracking down on Russia's use of fake profiles and news websites. This is just a tragic story here. A Ugandan athlete who competed in the Paris Olympics has died days after being set on fire. And investigators say her boyfriend did it and was also burned. Rebecca Cheptegei was burned on 75% of her body, according to police. The attack began after a disagreement about land, and it was land Cheptegei purchased to be closer to athletic training centers.
We'll take a look at this aerial video of the post-fire burning in Southern California. Evacuation orders are in place as people in Riverside County deal with triple-digit heat and this massive fire. It broke out just before 4 p.m. yesterday. It spread about 120 acres in just a few hours. It is currently not yet contained at all. The fire has destroyed at least 1 building so far. And today, Pope Francis joined the Grand Imam of Southeast Asia's largest mosque to promote unity and peace. Ambassadors from each of the 6 recognized religions in Indonesia came together to meet with the Pope. Francis and the Grand Imam signed a declaration condemning religious-based violence. Indonesia has the world's largest Muslim population, and Francis is working to improve Catholic-Muslim ties.
Time is 8:21. The Olympic rings will stay on the Eiffel Tower long after the Paralympics end. The mayor of Paris plans to keep the rings permanently. She says she wants the spirit of celebration to remain, but not everyone is happy about this. Descendants of the tower's engineers say it was not intended as an advertising platform, and tourists are also divided on the issue. Some want to preserve the memories of the games, and others are happy to see it end. For the record, it's super cool France gave us the Statue of Liberty in the late 1800s, but with that being said, is this the strategy we want to have the rings on the Eiffel Tower?
I don't know. A lot of people are divided. There's actually a petition that has more than 30,000 signatures saying, take it down. We don't want it. We just want the Eiffel Tower. We don't want anything, you know, like you said, advertisement on the Eiffel Tower. So we'll have to see what happens.
It's a move, we'll say that.
Yeah, it definitely is. All right, well, Taylor Swift fans made headlines for creating seismic activity during her concert in Seattle last summer, and now an even more earth-shaking concert has been recorded. A local geology professor measured the activity when Ed Sheeran came to town, and it was his live collaboration with Macklemore that got the crowd moving at record levels.
Here you have local artist playing Can't Hold Us, which is a very jumpy song and a very high energy song, and the crowd responded appropriately.
The professor says she analyzed the data of hundreds of seismometers from around the Northwest to measure the data. That's pretty impressive.
The Richter scale? Nah, the Swift scale. Your high school athlete could be paid for their name, image, and likeness by next football season. Just ahead, the vote expected today that could make it possible.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. Happy Thursday. Time now is 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey. It is a busy morning out there on the roads. Ken Smith has some backups on I-40 westbound, Ken.
Yeah, we have a few trouble spots. The main trouble spot this morning is that I-40 westbound around the Gorman Street exit there. We've been following this crash all morning long here in the WRAL Traffic Center. And it's a situation that's caused quite a bit of backup there on the westbound lanes of I-40. You can see right there the lingering delays. Right now it's in the clearing phase. We're being told that two lanes were closed, but now just one lane is closed. And right now we're going to see those lingering delays stretching all the way back to the I-440 split. And you can see the north side of the Beltline. We're also seeing a bit of a slowdown. That's going to add about 5 minutes to your commute if you're taking the northern side of the Beltline. We're going to work to figure out exactly how much of a delay time you're looking at here in the south side of the Beltline coming up on the bottom of the hour.
Taking a look at the potential for some showers, some of that rain moving into the mountains now. And notice it's starting to show up over us. A lot of that is evaporating before it reaches the ground because we take a look at Dual Doppler 5000 radar and we are nice and dry. But just a small chance for rain around mid-morning into the early part of the afternoon, especially from the Triangle area southward is where we'll most likely see it. It's definitely a gray start as you're heading out the door. 65 in Durham and Raleigh, 66 degrees in Fayetteville. And as you're heading out for your exercise this afternoon, temperatures will be in the upper 70s. And we'll see some increasing sunshine in the afternoon.
All right. Thanks, Elizabeth. Today, the State Board of Education will vote on whether high school athletes would be allowed to make money from their name, image, and likeness. Athletes would not be able to use an NIL deal as a recruiting tool. If the vote passes today, there will be a period for public comment. After that, there will be a final vote. Next on Fox 50, why the U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is visiting Raleigh today.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Tracking a few showers. It's likely to be fairly light and patchy around the middle of the day. I'll show you who's more likely to see it.
Plus, some high school athletes in North Carolina could soon make a lot more money. The vote happening today in regard to name, image, and likeness.
And the first kickoff of the NFL season happening tonight in Kansas City. The excitement surrounding the opening night as the Chiefs take on the Ravens. But the question is, will Taylor Swift be there?
I think that's the question that a lot of people have in their minds today, Michelle.
Thanks for joining us here on Fox 50. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
And I'm Chris Lovingood. Whether you're a Chiefs fan, maybe a Panthers fan, or in my household, my wife, Steelers fan, it's going to be a good time to be watching the game. But of course, we want to, before we get to there, here's our weather forecast for today. A little rain possible today.
A little rain. We've been tracking a disturbance that's been back to our west the last day or two, and it's sliding into the mountains. And notice how all of a sudden it looks like it's popping up here across our viewing area. So most likely what's happening there is the radar is detecting what's happening in the clouds above us, and all that's evaporating before it reaches the ground because we're not seeing anything falling here right now. We take a look at futurecast, and we do show the potential for a few isolated showers from around mid-morning to early afternoon, especially from the Triangle area southward. And then during the afternoon, the clouds are likely to break up a little bit. We should see some sunshine on and off, especially especially west of I-95. East of I-95, there still could be a stray shower or sprinkle all the way up until around 5 or 6 p.m. And then we have a better chance for rain on Saturday with a cold front coming through. We're going to take a closer look at that coming up. This is a look over downtown Raleigh, mostly cloudy. There are some holes in the clouds out there. There's a little sunshine trying to peek through. Our temperature mid-60s in the Triangle. The dew point's at 60, which is still fairly comfortable feeling. Again, that rain starting to kind of pick up a little bit by middle of the morning, ending early afternoon. It's just a 30% chance. Our temperatures this afternoon will climb into the upper 70s. Again, we do have some rain in the forecast for the first half of the weekend. I'll show you how much we could see coming up. Ken?
At 8:32, Elizabeth, we do have some breaking news, and updating this breaking news we've been following all morning long. Those westbound lanes of I-40 near Gorman Street. We just got reports from our crew on the scene that this crash has actually cleared. All the lanes are open right now, but of course you're still seeing the lingering delays. It involved a couple of vehicles, a tractor trailer and a dump truck, a garbage truck, I should say, around 4:30 this morning, and it just cleared in the last few minutes. I want to isolate the belt line and show you what the lingering delays that we're seeing all the way back to the I-40, 440 split this morning. We are seeing a bit of a slowdown for those northern lanes, because earlier I was letting people know if you have to get around there and you're coming in from Johnson County, those northern side of the belt line would work. Right now, this is our live look at I-40 and Rock Quarry Road. This traffic is about to clear up shortly because that crash is cleared on Gorman Street and I-40 westbound. So these folks should start moving at a steadier clip in the next few minutes or so, but we'll keep monitoring it for you. In terms of there's major roads coming into the capital city, the real trouble spot right now is US 1. Our friends coming in for Wake Forest, you're looking at a 12-minute delay. Also, if you're coming in from Nightdale, you're looking at an 8-minute delay this morning coming into the capital city. So definitely give yourself some extra time.
The 14-year-old accused of shooting and killing 2 teachers and 2 students at a high school in Georgia will be tried as an adult. He was booked late last night. And this morning, we're learning more about the victims. Look at your screen. 14-year-old students Mason Schermerhorn and Christian Angelo. They died, along with math teachers Richard Aspinwall and Christina Aramy. 9 other people, 8 students and a teacher, were also shot, but they are expected to live. The city where the shooting happened is a small community of fewer than 20,000 people. Hundreds of people came together to mourn at a vigil last night. There will be no school today or tomorrow. Instead, counselors will be available for students and staff. Students say this has left them stunned and afraid to go back to school.
Every time I walked into school, I never thought anything would happen to me. Like, that's honestly a place I've honestly felt protected. Now, I don't even want to be in the hallways alone.
Law enforcement says the shooter, identified as Colt Gray, used an AR-style weapon. According to the FBI, he was interviewed by local law enforcement last year over online threats to commit a school shooting. But authorities say there was no probable cause for his arrest at that time. All lanes of I-95 are open hours after this tractor trailer fire closed them. The driver in that crash, they died. It happened in Cumberland County and the northbound lanes near the I-295 interchange, and this was around 7:30 last night. State Highway Patrol says a tire malfunction caused the tractor trailer to hit the highway barrier. One of its fuel tanks exploded, and that resulted in the huge fire.
The big ball of fire was just insane. I would say about 16 foot high, coming off the front of the trailer. You know, cab was kind of disappeared or not there anymore. You know, it was massive.
Authorities have not released the name of the driver who died.
Breaking news out of Sampson County. 2 people are dead after a crash near Clinton. This is video of where that crash happened on Boykin Bridge Road. Troopers tell us they responded to the crash right after 7:30 last night. Investigators were on the scene for almost 5 hours. We are working to learn the names of the people who died and how that crash happened. And student athletes in North Carolina public schools will learn today whether they get paid for sponsorship deals. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey tells us many other states already allow students to make money from name, image, and likeness deals.
We're just hours away from finding out if high school athletes' work here on the field will eventually lead to more money in their pockets. Next football season, some high school players may get paid for their name, image, and likeness. Under the proposed rules, high school athletes would be allowed to do activities like paid appearances, product endorsements, and autograph signings. 38 other states have already adopted a rule that allows this, but there are some exceptions. One of the most notable is this. A school cannot use the NIL deal as a recruiting tool. Here's WRAL sports investigative reporter Brian Murphy.
I would imagine some top recruits may be able to command, big contracts or big endorsement deals to sign autographs or with trading card companies and the like. But for the majority of high school athletes, I don't know that this is going to have a huge impact on their lives.
So we can think of what's happening today as a preliminary vote. After that, this will go forward for a public comment period. Then there should be a final vote in January. So this rule wouldn't actually go into effect until July. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Cary.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he will not withdraw troops from the Egypt-Gaza border. He made that announcement as protests in his country demanding a ceasefire deal are growing more hostile. Israelis took to the streets for a fourth night last night. They want Netanyahu to make the concessions needed to reach a deal that will allow the release of the remaining hostages. In a defiant news conference last night, Netanyahu said Gaza needs to be demilitarized. He says that can only happen if that corridor remains under firm Israeli control.
U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen will be in Raleigh today. She plans to highlight how she says President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris are keeping energy costs down as much as possible. Secretary Yellen will tour and make her remarks at Wake Tech. WRAL will have a news crew there and will have reports at noon and on our news beginning at 4.
And Jeff Hogan in the WRAL Live Center getting some brand new information from overseas. French President Emmanuel Macron has named this man, Michel Barnier, as the country's new prime minister. Barnier will be asked to form a united government to serve the country and the French people. No small task because they've been in a stalemate, so to speak, as far as leadership is concerned. Barnier is 73 years old. He's best known on the international stage for his role in mediating the United Kingdom's exit from the European Union. He is the architect of Brexit, if you will.
Quite an update there. Thank you, Jeff. A juvenile petition has been filed for a third suspect in the murder of a Wake County woman. The other two suspects, as you see here, they were in court yesterday. Khalil and Xavier Atkinson are charged with first-degree murder. The brothers are accused of shooting and killing Serenity Spencer. Spencer was shot on Hodge Road near Wendell and later died from her injuries. The Atkinsons' next court appearance is September 25th.
The Governor's Crime Commission will meet this morning to discuss progress and priorities. The committee will go over the results of a new law enforcement employee survey, as well as criminal justice improvement recommendations. And you can stream today's meeting online. It all begins at 9 a.m.
The search for a man accused of shooting two people in Granville County is entering its second day. Look at your screen. This is Andre Jones, in case you haven't seen him. A caller told dispatchers her child's father shot her several times in her upper body and leg. Emergency responders went to another victim who was shot as well. That happened at a nearby corner store. And the sheriff says Jones should be considered armed and dangerous.
High-speed internet access is expanding in North Carolina with a new project breaking ground in Lee County. A groundbreaking event will recognize MCNC's HERO project. The nonprofit works to bring high-speed internet access to rural and economically challenged areas. And the community is invited to Central Carolina Community College in Sanford from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. today to learn more about this project.
Time is 8:40. An American Airlines flight was diverted because of a bomb threat found on the plane. Coming up, where a flight attendant found that threat that led the FBI to question everyone on board.
And the NFL season officially kicks off tonight in Kansas City. We'll hear from fans and analysts as the Chiefs eye the three-peat for the first time in NFL history.
Ah, yes, the heavily coveted three-peat. And you're looking live in Beaufort right now. A bit of a cool start to the morning. Of course, there is a chance for some rain later. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, she has those details in just a bit when we return. Well, we're taking a look at Carolina Beach. Not a whole lot of activity out there. Not surprised, obviously, weather-wise. Things are a little cooler here, of course, but you're watching WRAL News, available on YouTube TV and the WRAL app on your TV or your streaming device. We've got right there behind you, behind Elizabeth Gardner, an event in downtown Raleigh that's going to be happening, and it's pretty exciting, right?
It is. This is Hopscotch, and this is City Plaza here, where they're all set up, ready to go. 3 days, today, tomorrow, and Saturday. Today, a sprinkle or two could happen. Saturday, Friday looks pretty pretty dry until really late on Friday night. And then Saturday, we're going to be dealing with some showers and thunderstorms. We take a look at what's happening right now. 65 degrees, cloudy skies, dew point 60, so it feels comfortable outside right now. Satellite and radar showing some cloud cover, and then all of a sudden sort of the rain looks like it jumps right over us. And most likely what's happening is the radar is picking up some rain at the tops of the clouds. None of that is reaching the ground. We take a look at dual Doppler 5000 radar, and you can see we are still dry at this point. So we're going to continue to watch that closely, just watching that disturbance that's back to our west. Futurecast shows some of that starting to move in a little closer to lunchtime. You can see this is a brand new run of the model, and you can see the rain is very light with this. So mostly we'll stay dry. You may see a sprinkle, quick little shower right around lunchtime. After that, this afternoon, evening, we should see a little sunshine starting to break out of the clouds. And around town, temperatures will be pleasant to upper 70s in Raleigh and Durham and 81 degrees in Fayetteville. The next 5 days, a little bit stickier. It's not going to feel too bad today. By Saturday, when we have our front coming through, it's going to feel a bit more muggy. But right behind the front, we're going to see our dew point dropping. Nice dry air mass comes in, feeling great for us on Sunday and Monday. Our normal high is 86, and so we're going to stay below that all the way through the next 7 days, which is going to feel nice. This is really a treat because late August through the middle of September, we still often see some days in the 90s. We don't have any of that in our forecast. You see the blue shaded areas. This part of the country will see temperatures below normal. All the heat is back to the west, especially right along the west coast. But at least through the middle of next week, our temperatures stay below normal. So we will enjoy it while we have it. Our normal low is 66. We're close to that the next couple of mornings, but by early next week, our overnight lows drop into the 50s. It should be comfortable for Football Friday as the games kick off. Temperatures will be in the mid to upper 70s. And then as the games are wrapping up, especially down to the south, there's a small chance that some of that rain or maybe even an isolated storm rolls through. But I feel like for the most part, our Football Friday games will be dry. For today, just a tiny chance of a shower around midday. If you're going to be heading out to any of the hopscotch events this afternoon, evening, we should stay fairly dry. And Friday stays dry until pretty late, like maybe around 10 or 11 p.m. Saturday, we do have a 40% chance of some scattered showers and thunderstorms. So keep checking back as we kind of fine tune the timeline for that. After that, Sunday's looking nice and dry, as is most of next week.
Looks beautiful. Thanks, Elizabeth. Well, parents here in North Carolina say they're taking a closer look at safety measures in their children's schools after that Georgia shooting. Johnston County Schools is one of the few districts in the state that regularly uses weapons detection systems. One parent says she appreciates the precautionary measure.
I don't know that it gives me a peace of mind, but it makes me thankful that they are thinking about it. And that I hate that my child has to have it.
And Wake County Public Schools recently added a clear bag policy for events, an anonymous reporting app, and the Rave Panic Button app. Last month, school leaders talked about creating a real-time security center to help respond to issues more quickly.
An American Airlines flight diverted a flight because a flight attendant found a bomb threat written inside the plane's bathroom. Now, the plane was flying from New Jersey to Texas yesterday morning. The FBI says that a flight attendant noticed someone wrote, quote, "There is a bomb on board," inside the bathroom with a pink pen. Now, the pilot was told about the threat, and then he diverted the plane to Pittsburgh International Airport. The FBI says they questioned every single person aboard, and they also searched the belongings of the last two people to use that bathroom, but they did not find a pink pen. NC State students, faculty, and staff could get the results of a health investigation into Poe Hall in the next few weeks. Poe Hall was closed last November because of cancer-causing chemicals being found in the building. NC State's executive vice chancellor recently said 30 years worth of documents were turned over to CDC investigators. They were performing a health hazard evaluation, and they expect the results this semester. The evaluation can determine the potential effects of PCBs found in Poe Hall. It cannot, though, require NC State to take any action.
UNC is looking at the future of its basketball arena. University leaders are considering several options for how to move forward. The options offered by a working group are to renovate the current Dean Smith Center, build a new one at the same site, move it to the Bowles parking lot or Odom Village, or move it off campus to the Friday Center or Carolina North. Students we spoke with on campus say they'd like to see it stay.
Especially when we beat Duke, brushing Franklin Street would be so much harder getting there after we beat them. So it's really convenient to have it here on campus.
She's confident an architecture firm will look into the specifics, including the cost analysis. No timeline has been set for making a decision.
Yeah, there was no if in her
no,
statement.
It's
it was
when
after. Well, tonight the NFL season kicks off in Kansas City, and what you're seeing right now is a live look at Arrowhead Stadium. That is where the Chiefs will play the Baltimore Ravens in a game you can watch over on WRAL. Jay Gray has the latest on the matchup and the hype surrounding the return of NFL action.
No QBs right now, guys.
Practice is over, and now for the Chiefs and the Ravens, it's finally game day.
I'm ready to go. I've been going against my guys for weeks. You know, it's time to go against someone else.
That someone else is the two-time Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Get to play another year of football, fresh slate. You know, get to kind of prove to ourselves and the Chiefs Kingdom that we're one of the top dogs.
Fans in KC don't need much convincing. A city awash in red, gold, and an unflagging support for their champs. Streets lined with banners, buildings wrapped in the team's logo, and the Chiefs faithful lining up for new gear to start a season many think will end with a Super Bowl three-peat, something that's never been done in the history of the NFL.
I feel like it is probably the best chance of any team that they could, because I feel like Mahomes and Kelsey and Reed, they all are pretty determined.
Determination that those who played the game say comes with a different kind of energy and excitement on opening night.
You're going to be nervous, you're going to be anxious, but it's like a fun time knowing that you're the only game on.
And you can watch tonight's game on WRAL. Coverage starts at 7 o'clock with kickoff set for 8:20.
Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin will start in the team's season opener this Sunday against the Arizona Cardinals. This will be his first start since he collapsed and went into cardiac arrest during a game against the Cincinnati Bengals in January of 2023. The 26-year-old played in 5 games last season. He returned to the field in a preseason game against the Indianapolis Colts just 7 months after his collapse on the field. Hamlin says after recovering, he feels like he's been given a second chance.
You know, I have a second chance at doing things the right way in all areas of my life. So, you know, the more that I think about that, the more that it connects me to my blessings of why I'm here. And, you know, I would never want to disrespect my blessings. So, you know, I take this opportunity and this process super serious.
And the Buffalo Bills host the Arizona Cardinals week 1 of the 2024 NFL season this Sunday. Kickoff is at 1 p.m.
We have a first look at the new Minecraft movie and more. Here's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
What the hell?
Here's your first look at a Minecraft movie, the live-action adaptation of the massively popular video game. Jason Momoa, Oscar nominee Danielle Brooks, and Jack Black explore the overworld in the adventure, which is due in theaters April 4th.
I'm needed upstairs. Bob, hold down the fort.
It's hard to imagine a Beetlejuice sequel without Michael Keaton, but the star of Beetlejuice had hesitations about following up the 1988 original.
You don't want to ruin it, because it was a little, honestly, and I give Tim the credit for this, it was kind of like a little piece of art that showed up that became iconic, and you don't want to be the dope who comes in and screws that up, you know. So, but once we got going, you know, it was kind of like we did it the week before, you know, we were just making another one.
The juice is loose.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
And before we go to break, here are your winning lottery numbers. We'll get another check on weather and traffic coming up next.